Hello, good morning, and welcome to this early morning taste challenge. I have two Kentucky straight rye whiskeys, and they both have no age statement, and they're both from James B. Beam Distilling Company. This one is discontinued, however. This is Jim Beam Rye Pre-Prohibition style, introduced in 2015. It was a different style bottle. Then they came up with another bottle design later. The one I have. I purchased this at Total Wine and More in Baton Rouge, Louisiana in 2022, which is actually the only place I could find it. It was $17.49. We don't know what the mash bill is on either one of these. What percentage is rye and other grains? We know it's at least 51% rye, and they might, for all I know, they might be the same mash bill, but simply proofed different, one at 90, one at 80. I can't say yes or no because I don't know. Beautiful twist cap. $17.49. It looks like that's going to fall. Jim Beam Rye 2024. And they used to make a Jim Beam Rye back to 2015, up till 2015 with a label. So it could be the same thing. They just brought it back. I don't know. They're alluding to that on the website, but they don't say definitively. It's got a white cap and neck. If you look on the website, when I show you in a moment, they're showing a green cap and neck. Don't know the discrepancy there. 80 proof, no age statement. They're both Kentucky straight rye whiskey, which means what? Aged in new charred oak barrels for at least 2 years, 51% rye or more, and also all the rye whiskeys have to come from the same state, although they don't have to come from the same distillery. But they both have to be from the same state, which in this case is Kentucky. All right. Appearance. The Pre-Prohibition is a little darker, although it's hard to tell. I would like to show you the website for Pre-Prohibition, but of course it was discontinued and they took it off the web page site. But I could show you the current one. Jim Beam Rye. Our old school Jim Beam Rye recipe is marked by warm notes, a spicy kick, and a bite of black pepper, all rounded out by hints of vanilla and oak flavors. I'm not sure about all that, but see, they're sort of like hinting that they brought the old recipe back, but they're not saying it straight up about the straight rye. Family recipe. Doesn't this Pre-Prohibition say that also, though? Time-honored family recipe. What do you know? All right. There's the wax seal. It's not really wax, but trying to make it look like it. All right. Anyway. There's a rotating bottle. Let me see what they say about this. I'm going to try to use artificial intelligence, which is usually not very intelligent. When was Jim Beam Rye produced? Jim Beam Rye was introduced in 1938. It was released the same year as a mint julep. Oh, yeah, they do say it on their website. That's right. So 1938 to 2015. But they're not saying whether this thing, blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing. All right. And it do not matter. All right. What matters, can I tell them apart? Maybe, probably because of the proof. You can still find this around, be stuck on the shelf somewhere. Might be worth looking for. If it's less than $20. I wouldn't go above 20, no way. Not happening. I wouldn't have paid over 20 for it when I first bought it. That's why I made sure I bought it in Baton Rouge, because I knew they had it for $17.49. Smells kind of spicy. Kind of. Less. More rye spice, more minty. Less. So I'm thinking that's the Prohibition, Pre-Prohibition. I'm thinking that's the white label, the current one. But let's see. Well, it's got a lot of minty spice. It's so dreary outside today. It's windy, it's damp, and it's cold. And the temperature is dropping. Not too nice, gotta say. Won't be doing any outside reviews today, I can assure you. Yeah, minty, spicy mintiness, rye, sweet. They're both sugary sweet. They both are medium body with a dry finish, though, as whiskey tends to be. This one might seem like it has a little more corn syrup like flavor. Could you use corn syrup to make bourbon or whiskey? Any other whiskey? I've seen no prohibition against that. I've read the regulations very carefully. It just says it must contain 51% corn to my bourbon. It doesn't say what type of corn. You understand? No, I mean, it doesn't say whole kernel corn. It doesn't say corn grits. It does not say corn syrup. It just say corn. So I think they probably could, and maybe they do use corn syrup. I know when I went to not Blanton's, well, I did go to Blanton's, but when I went to Barton 1792 Distillery, they showed me the corn because they were unloading a truck when I was there. And they had the whole kernels pouring out the truck. And then the girl was showing me this big hammer. When it dries, they smash it with this big hammer. Bam, bam, bam. I don't know how they do it. I mean, they get it under the hammer, but they do it in that. She said it makes it into grits, which is nothing but corn that's pulverized. Could they use corn meal? Could they use corn flour? Yes, I don't see any prohibition against it. Now, whether it would be, I'm not a distiller. I don't know these intricate details. I'm just thinking, I'm trying to figure it out. They certainly use corn syrup in beer. Let's see now. Sugar sweetness. I'm sitting on my other hand. My right hand, I'm sitting on it because it's cold. When I write something with a pen or pencil, I use my left hand, like if I'm writing something. But when I'm using scissors, I use my right hand. Hold it with my left. So when I was a child in school, they would say, "Oh, you write with your left hand, so you need these left-handed scissors." They'd give us to do, little school scissors. But I never could get them to work. I was like, "Can't use that." Be doing like this, So I'd get the regular scissors and cut. Scissors, pencil. All right. I'm able to write with my right hand. It doesn't come out so nice because I don't practice with it. Could do it if I had to. All right, but don't think I could cut with the left. Anyway, anyhow, this one tastes like it has more proof. This one tastes like it has more alcohol per volume. Therefore, I say that this is the Jim Beam Pre-Prohibition style rye. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim Beam Rye Pre-Prohibition style. That's the official title. Discontinued product. I got it. I don't know if anybody came up there and told you, but I got it. All right. Excellent. And what gave it away? The flavor? Not really. The flavor is about identical. What gave it away was I could detect it was a little higher proof, honestly. It wasn't really the flavor. Now, I got it wrong the first time with Old Overhaul. And then I got it wrong the second time with a different variant of Old Overhaul. And then the third time I got it right. And the fourth time I got it right with this. So 2 wins, 2 losses so far. 2 wins, 2 losses. Not proud of that, but I figured it would be tough because these rye whiskeys do tend to taste very similar one to another. You're not supposed to say that on the internet. People get angry, You're wrong. They're all unique. They're different. Well, they're unique in the sense that they all have a different brand name and different labels, but I don't know about that different. These are both winners. They both score in the A range. A, most excellent. I think Jim Beam makes excellent products. James B. Beam Distilling Company, actual name. Other people would disagree with that and say they make mediocre products, and I hate it, and I would never be caught drinking Jim Beam. Fine, do what you want. I'll do what I want, especially since your interests don't conflict with mine. Your interests don't conflict with my interests. But otherwise, that being said, I do think they make wonderful products. But I would buy this one since A, you can buy it, it's available, it's in production. B, this one is out of production and it may be impossible to find at this point, but I doubt it's impossible. Maybe a challenge. B, second argument point. This one is $13.49. This one I paid $17.49. That's $4. Difference is the Jim Beam Pre-Prohibition style $17. Sorry, is it? I don't think it's 40 cents better. So it's not better. So you may as well. Now, do you always come out ahead buying the cheaper product? No, certainly not. But in this case, you would. I think you would. I believe you would. So yes, 2 winners, 2 delicious rye whiskeys from one of the great distilling companies in the world. Jim Beam, James B. Beam Distilling. Now you say you're on their payroll. They pay you money to make these videos. If they paid me money, look, if they paid me money to make these videos, I would be doing a video for James B. Beam. I would be doing Beam products about 2-3 times a day, every day, forever. You know how much I've gotten from this company in my life? That much. Nothing. Not to say I would turn it down, but I never got anything from them. People have accused me of being like a shill for Budweiser. You get paid by Budweiser. I said, believe me, if I got paid by Budweiser, meaning Anheuser-Busch InBev, I would make Budweiser videos every day, all day, every week, every month, every year. Make more money. but they have never given me a single thing except some discounts a few times, which was available to everybody who happened to be in that grocery store at that moment. Now, I'll admit, Coors, meaning Blue Moon, but Coors, they did send me a T-shirt once and one of those bottle openers that they use in the bar room. They're very nice. And they sent me 2 beautiful glasses. Well, actually, they sent me 4. I broke one, but I gave 2 to my daughter. So they did send me a T-shirt, 2 glasses, and a bottle opener. I didn't ask for it. I never said I would love for you to give me free stuff. They said, we want to send you something. Can you give us your address? And I said, yeah. Well, I was like, all it did was make a video, about Blue Moon. And I gave it a C, which is funny. I gave it a C, like, it's okay. It's kind of mediocre, but they gave me, my daughter gave it an A. Back, that was so many years ago. But, and they send me all this stuff. But I'm not on their page. Modelo sent me 2 beautiful glasses. I broke one in the washing it. Sent me a cutting board, wooden cutting board, 4 spices from the Spice House. It sent me $50 to buy Modelo Negra and do videos, cooking videos. I'm thinking cooking videos. Am I known to be a cook? I don't think so. I don't know about heating up a banquet pot pie is cooking, but they said the only stipulation, we want you to make cooking videos with the Spice House spices. This is in 2014, 11 years ago. And then show you cooking the stuff and then eating it with the Modelo Negra. Back then it was called Negro Modelo. I said, well, okay. Still couldn't understand it because they said, we have this famous chef, Rick Bayless. I've heard the name, don't watch those kind of shows. And I said, and me? It's like, you couldn't get like Guy Fieri or one of these other people, or that one that yells at everybody. But I'm thinking, okay, but I got the $50 and I bought Modelo Negra, which back then in 2014 you could buy a lot of Modelo Negra for $50. And I did it. But I wasn't, you understand, I wasn't hustling for that. I didn't go ask them. I literally never asked them for anything. They just contacted me because my emails on my YouTube channel. And so, okay. But anyway, but call me Jim Beam Company and you could set that up and I'll do videos all day. Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen, folks. But anyway, and I'm not worrying about, I wouldn't want it to happen because I got other things I need to cover in this series. So what's coming up next? From good old Tennessee, and I've been to Tennessee many times. It's a long, skinny state. It looks sort of like a board, a pine board, 2x4 with ragged edges. And it used to belong to North Carolina. But you see, North Carolina and Virginia and Connecticut and all these other states said, well, our intention is to set up, colonize these areas, send settlers out there, and then we'll have a huge state. Connecticut will stretch to the Pacific Ocean and all of this will be like really thin. And the U.S. government was like, yeah, meaning the other states were like, yeah, but that's going to be really difficult to, you in Connecticut, way over there in Hartford, Connecticut, and you're going to control little towns by the Mississippi River. Those areas might rise up and revolt from us like we did with the British. We'll lose our empire. And they were like, yeah, that's true. So they were like, well, how about if you just donate it to the government and we'll have just a common territory and we could divide it into new states. And Virginia and Connecticut and all them, Georgia, North Carolina were like, well, okay. So they just gave up all those territories, which they turned into new states. The Virginia territories west of the mountains became Kentucky, and then the North Carolina territories west of the mountains up to the Mississippi River or over to the Mississippi River became Tennessee. And then Georgia gave up their territories, and that became Alabama, Mississippi. And then Florida, which, well, that was a Spanish territory, so I wasn't part of it. That was owned by the Kingdom of Spain. But then Florida, they chopped it into pieces. They chopped one part off, made that Florida later. And then West Florida became a little piece of Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Hello, Jay. Whole family enjoys Crybaby. Have a good day. Says PPNP. Yes, Crybaby, the star of my channel, who is sleeping right now. Around this time of day, she goes to sleep inside the couch. Not on the couch. She goes behind the couch and goes inside the armrest because there's an opening in the back. And sleeps there all day with her little toy. I gave her a toy. It looks like a voodoo doll. It's a toy with like soft parts and arms and all, and it has a bell or it makes noise. But she didn't want to play with it. She brings it in there and she saw on a piece of wood. She sleeps on a piece of like 2x4. Actually, I was talking about that earlier. I don't know what's comfortable about sleeping on a piece of wood inside of an armrest, but she likes it because it's big. The sofa has a huge armrest, long and wide. A full-size cat could fit inside it. You know, you can't figure them out. You know, you could sleep on a soft couch, but she wants to go inside the armrest and sleep. Eventually, she'll get too big. She won't be able to get underneath the couch because it's pretty low. She won't be able to get in there. She'll be panicked. I would say, well, sleep. Now, at night, she got to sleep on the bed. At night, she got to get on the bed. She's like excited because I'm going to sleep. I'll lay down and watch basketball. Boy, she's happy. Ooh, because she jumps on the bed, and then she can lay next to me. She'll lay there. She won't bother me, but she got to be touching me. She'll lay on the bed. She got to be touching my shoulder, or be touching my hip, or touching my feet. Got to be touching me. Otherwise, she just stays quiet. Stays quiet. And then, unfortunately, around midnight, she wants to start playing, jumping across the bed, run across the bed, run across the bed, biting my feet. But you know how they are. But anyway, that's the end of this. So get ready for tomorrow. Not tomorrow. This was for tomorrow. Get ready for Thursday. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Rye. Oh, man, discontinued. Another one discontinued. Introduced in 2017 and didn't make it even 10 years. Discontinued in 2024. Made it only 7 years. Now, does Jack Daniel's still make rye whiskey? Yes, they do. But it's top shelf. They went from a kind of economy brand version of it. Now they got one and you can buy it's like $60, $70. I haven't tried that one yet. So yeah, Jack Daniel's never going to stop making a rye whiskey. It's not a big part of their collection, but they do it. You know, they got it out there. Sazerac got their ryes. Heaven Hill got their ryes out there. Well, of course, all these liquor companies got their rye whiskeys. They might only make up 5% of their volume, but they put it out there because some people honestly want to buy rye, and I'm one of those people. Okay, so thanks for watching, and cheers to Jim Beam Rye, which is a wonderful product. I don't care what anybody says. I do care what they say, but but I think it's a wonderful product, and I'm unanimous in that. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.